Welcome to Rewind the Podcast.
What up, everybody?
Before you open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find.
Reaching from something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Rewind the Podcast.
Sponsored by Natasha Bedingfield.
I know.
Not really.
So we literally
less than 30 minutes ago.
just left the Natasha Bedingfield intimate night with the Natasha Bedingfield.
They called it Soho Roo Sessions.
Ooh, at Soho House in Nashville. And we sang, drank, danced, hollered.
And we're squeezed in like this with 100 other white people.
It was. I saw about 4 of my kind in there. We was in there holding it down.
We also saw a friend of the pod.
Don't do that.
No, I'm not going
to
do that.
Don't do that.
Okay.
But it was such a great show.
It really was. Now, let me tell you something. Natasha Bedingfield, she can still wail. We should be making her famous.
She
still.
sang down. She really did. She was great.
She was getting it. It was awesome. Shout out to our friend Andrew Cohen. Thank you for letting us go. He's been really hooking us up lately.
Yes, Cohen.
You actually came to this
I
one.
know. I love Natasha.
You do love Natasha. Raven was getting it. She was popping her booty. It was great. She sang these words. And then I got a
bucket.
The one song she didn't sing that I wish she would have is my song. Soulmate.
I don't know that.
Incompatible.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
I one time I'm turning into somebody auntie. I'm about to tell a story that I don't know if I've told. We listened to I Got a Pocket on the way to a cabin trip.
You never told the story.
Okay. I can never, because y'all are my friends in real life, I can never remember what is like a rewind story and what's just like a regular story.
Let it be known, after year 3 or 4, we're probably going to repeat some stories. Just go with it.
But we listened to I Got a Pocket on the way to a cabin trip.
Yeah.
And I sang it all weekend. I could not, it like took over my body.
Well, had you recently seen like Easy A or
No,
something?
we just listened to it in the car thing. And so I just all weekend was like, I got a pocket. And everyone was like, you will sleep outside. If you sing it one more time, we're putting you out.
That's not giving reparations.
I couldn't stop though. It's one of my favorites.
You like that part in Easy A?
That was me. So annoying.
I love that.
But yeah, it was a really fun show. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha. I have a Natasha Bedingfield story myself.
Okay.
There was this girl who could sing down at our church. Her name was Lizzie. Hello, Lizzie. And we used to sing that part. She was a fierce harmonizer, and I could really like hit notes back then. And we would do the "Take Me Away," and she would harmonize with the low harmony. Take me away. I don't know what it is.
It's not that.
It's not that. But she used to work at Citibank. Hello, and I would go in and we would like gaggle and sing for her coworkers, and we were like, oh, we've been working on one, and we sang that one, and neither of us were feeling that day. And when I tell you, those bank people, they would always be like, y'all are so good. And we were like, take me away, and like it was not good. And they were like, okay, well, we got to get back to work. I was like, oh. Not the bank ladies. I didn't like it. Anyway.
I love that. Also, is Natasha a white girl's name?
I don't know. Natasha, when I think of like a Natasha, I think of like a Latinx. Like Latino.
Oh.
Latina.
I think of like a Roman, not a Roman.
Not a Roman.
And that's why we
say hello to producer Gabe over there in the Greek times.
That's why we only let him talk a little bit.
Russian.
Oh, yeah, like Natasha.
My name is Natasha.
Yeah.
I am Russian Olympian.
Yeah, for sure.
Leg cut off because I got bronze.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on along. Okay, well, hello, Natasha. Thank you, Andrew Cohen. And we got some stuff to talk about.
We're going to start low again. Well, kind of mid. We're going to start mid.
We're going to start mid. I will say this. You know where Natasha's from?
Oh, my God. I already know what transition you're going to do.
Okay, so let's see.
She's British.
Yeah, and you know what they have in British?
A king.
You know what they have in British? Forget it. No Kings protest took place this weekend.
So, yes, the No Kings protest all across the country happened over the weekend. That was a huge turnout.
Huge. Emphasis on huge.
I like literally there was a Birmingham. I was in Birmingham for the weekend for Father's Day. And the Birmingham turnout looked great. The Nashville
was huge. Everybody was there.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of us.
I am as well. No, I am. Now, that sounded hesitant. What I was thinking about was I noticed this protest was actual protesting, and it wasn't like the BLM protest where people were doing photo shoots or writing the fist on their face, no rights, so we're equal, damn right, I support it.
Right.
Or they weren't giving Coke cans to the police.
Yeah.
They were chunking. No, not really. It was peaceful.
Yeah.
It was. Now, in Washington, D.C.
Are you saying that BLM was not peaceful?
No. I'm saying BLM was peaceful. BLM, a lot of people, it felt very performative.
Okay. I just
And
wanted to clear it up for the crowd.
Oh, no. This just in. I did not say they were not peaceful.
Okay.
I thought I was pretty clear in that.
I just wanted to clear it up.
Okay, clear it up, always. Fact check. We support it here on Rewind the Podcast. On the other hand, in D.C., there was a military parade.
Girl, it was 4 people in that parade.
It was 4 people at that parade. I saw a thing that was, it was very poorly ran as far as, like, people getting in and out too. Like, it was very, like, if something were to have actually gone down, it would have been like Astro World.
They said that it looked like thrown together, and they were saying that, like, usually, like, military people, and y'all, I do not know what I'm talking about for real, but I'm gonna say what I had heard on the internet.
Welcome to Rewind the Podcast.
They said that normally, like, when military people do the march, it's like they're like left 2, 3, 4, 5, a hut 3, 4, like that.
Battalion.
And they were like all over the place, like one nobody walking together. And they were like, this is all very much thrown together for this man's birthday party. It looked really depressing there.
It did. And then they kept cutting to Trump, and he looked a little like sad / embarrassed. I saw a TikTok edit to Party For You by Charlie XCX, and then it cut to Elon, and it was like the one person he wanted to be there wasn't. And it was like, party on you, party on you.
My favorite sign from the No Kings protest was you sucked at Home Alone too.
I liked that one. There was a lot that I saw that I liked, but I cannot recall it in the moment. So I'm just going to keep smiling, and hopefully the tone of my voice will show you how much I love the signs.
But yes, I'm really.
I had some drinks at Natasha Bedingfield, everybody.
A
drink.
Singular drink.
But I don't drink like that, so I'm kind of feeling a little silly. Does anybody want to see my Tony?
No, put your feet down.
Okay, sorry. No
people gonna unsubscribe.
I'm guaranteed when we hit 4,000 this week, it'll be.
Anyway, I'm really proud to see like the diversity of the people that showed up. I will say,
it's like 80-year-olds showing up in the wheelchairs.
I will say they were saying we wasn't there.
Oh, black people?
Black women in particular.
Oh, tell us about it.
And respectfully,
let's talk about it.
We're tired.
We're tired.
Listen,
But y'all said that when the election came and went. They said, we're tired. We've done all that we can do.
We all do it. And I feel good about everybody else taking up the mantle and doing what they needed to do. So, especially the young people. It was a really good young people turnout, too. So, I was happy with what I saw.
Well, I want to jump back to what I said. I'm going to ask this. It might be controversial. We're having open-ended discussion on the pod this week about certain protests being performative. Do you think this was a show of action or just a show of we don't like you?
I don't think it matters.
I'm just curious because I've heard the argument. Some people I said, "Oh, are you going to go protest?" And they were like, "No, because it feels performative without like a boycott or like if you're getting a permit to have a protest, it's a parade."
I don't think that that's a. You can't, from the sidelines, dictate whether somebody else's action is performative. I think that's disingenuous. If you don't want to go, don't go. Yeah. But don't go and hush and sit on the side if that's what you're going to do. Like, we're not going to critique the people who showed up to do something because you don't get it. Don't get it and hush. Yeah. Respectfully.
That's just the tea. I'm asking.
Respectfully.
I like to see it from all sides here at Rewind the Podcast.
I don't like that. That really irks me.
Oh, let's talk about it.
When people are like, oh, like they're just doing that for this or they're just doing, like, no, people, like, you don't have to get it. And it feels very self-absorbed to be like, I don't get it, so it's stupid. Or I don't like it, so it's dumb. And it's like, no, it's just maybe that's not for you. And that's okay. But let it not be for you and hush.
I'm going to remind you that when I say I want to go to Disney and you criticize me for that, okay?
I don't criticize.
Gabe, would you like to speak on that? Exactly. It was before somebody else wanted to clock in and say something. So, yes, No Kings was a hit.
Yeah, it was a hit.
And hopefully there will be, I don't want to say the change. It's just a show of hey.
But I also love watching the hit to his ego.
Because sometimes that's all you need. I will say, there was this sheriff in Brevard County. Have you seen? Girl, have you seen this, Gabe? So there was this sheriff. Now, granted, I'm going to say this, and if you're watching on the YouTube or whatever and you don't like us, I'm aware that I am fat. But it goes into the story. There was this big boy sheriff.
He was big.
He was like, here at Brevard County, we've got some things we want y'all to know before we have this protest. If you want to get in the street, you will probably be ran over. If you want to throw a brick at us, we're going to call your parents and ask them where we want to not hide the body, where we want to deliver the body, because we will kill you. You mess with Brevard County, we're going to mess with you. And those comments, people said, this is not serious. People said, you are running after you're going to run after me. You can't run after the hot dog stand. You want to run after me? You're running after some Krispy Kreme. People were like, we do not take this seriously.
Why can't y'all just be for real? Why the man had to eat hot dogs and donuts?
Literally. But I'm also just like, to say that you are a public servant and a protector of the peace, to get up there and be like, come on, we're almost ready to hook, line, and sinker you, you should not be in that position.
No, 100%. It was 100% inappropriate and even more unconstitutional.
Absolutely.
Like, you should be going into this situation saying, we're going to de-escalate this as much as we can de-escalate so that everyone makes it home safely. Mm-hmm. That should be your goal, not Nuck if you buck, nigga. Yeah. This is not a club.
It's not.
This is a protest. Like, what are you doing?
Literally. And my thing is, too, is if you're going to go that hard, you know what it really was? He was just mad he wasn't invited to the military parade.
You know what it really was?
He wanted to go sashay with queens.
Like, oh, I'm not going to say that. That was ugly.
No, talk about it.
No, that's inappropriate.
Okay. You can catch it on Patreon.
No, I was going to say something crazy. What I was going to say was... that showed that he does not have, you, sir, do not have the temperament, the courage, or the maturity to do your job.
Or the huevos, let's be real.
Rancheros.
Amen, sister. So
I hope somebody popped him in the eye. Is that wrong to say?
No.
Oh.
As long as you're not threatening to say it.
Oh, I'm not hitting nobody.
I was gonna say, if he can say he can murder us on national television, I think pop in the eye is okay.
Yeah, that's the real tea game.
That is the real tea game. Thank you.
That Gabe with the wisdom tonight while we're both a little drunk.
I'm not drunk.
Buzzed, whatever.
I'm not buzzed, bitch. We had one drink.
Take me away.
He had one Aperol Spritz.
And it was good. No, I saw the lady making those Aperol Spritz. She was fighting for her life. That room was so full. She was just dumping a whole thing of champagne and doing it for a little color. So I just was like, so yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
moving on along.
Let's move on along. Okay, you wanted to talk about this.
Baby!
Yeah.
The BET Awards.
The BET.
Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Start from the beginning.
I'm gonna start from the top.
Okay. I'm
gonna start with my favorite performance of the night.
Okay.
The tribute to Jamie Foxx.
Let's go. Jennifer Hudson.
Wow! You just bust everybody's eardrums.
Sorry, everybody.
First of all, Jamie is a national treasure.
And we thought we were going to lose him.
Exactly. And like watching him be so grateful and honor his children in the way that he honored them and just be like a puddle of tears and like so emotional. He just seems like the sweetest man. And I am so glad he is still with us.
I think so too. I thought it was a really good tribute. I think he was crying. Everybody was crying. It wasn't necessarily like my favorite, but I was doing the praise speech.
Yes. Babyface, T.I., Ludacris. You know why I messed that up? Because of gin and juice.
Yeah.
Ludacris, Jennifer Hudson. I forget somebody. And somebody I didn't forget. Jennifer Hudson is magic. She is everything. Her doing that is like so in her element.
Oh, and I think, and I mean this very, J Hud, I love you. I think she needed it because the internet was starting to turn on her for her little talk show.
Why?
Because they said she's a horrible interviewer. Did you see that? Well, I mean, most of the time, if you don't interview well, you don't
let white ladies mess stuff up all the time. No, I'm not accepting it.
I love it.
She do just fine.
I love it.
She doing good. You keep asking your bad questions. Don't nobody care.
Yes, there was a clip of her talking to Kesha, and Kesha was like, I was an extra in Dreamgirls, and she goes, you were?
And that's all she needed to
And
say.
she was like, I was. And she was like,
that's nice.
crazy. Like, there was no like, and people were like, no, get her off the screen or whatever. And
No.
it's like, what?
No, she gonna be up in there. No. No. We done watch bad interview after bad interview.
You had to watch Chris, the talk show.
Well, you gonna talk about Chris like that. You know, that's my homegirl. But yes, no, I love Jennifer. She does no wrong in my eyes.
Clearly. I love that. Okay, now riddle me this. Did you see the Mariah Carey Type Dangerous? Dangerous.
First of all,
I think I actually just gave it more than she did.
this whole night was like throwbacks. It was like honoring Jamie Foxx. Honoring 106 in Park, like all of these old Anne
106
Marie,
in Park.
Ashanti, Nelly,
Oh, baby.
B2K. Girl, I screamed. My mama came running down the steps.
She thought something was wrong?
Yes.
You need to quit doing that to her.
I can't help it.
Every time Raven goes home, she's screaming and making her mom nervous.
I was screaming as a little black girl. You could not.
From the Brewster Project. Until she was discovered by an ebony fashion model.
As a little black girl in Birmingham, Alabama, you could not tell me that Lil Fizz was not my boyfriend.
No, nobody could.
I loved him. First, I loved Lil Fizz, and I moved over to Omarion in my
As you
older
do,
age.
Yes. You mature.
The 12-year-old in my heart burst.
Favorite B2K song, go.
Oh, you can do that to me.
You get 5.
Favorite? I can
3,
only think of Bump, Bump, Bump right now, but that's not my favorite. It's not my
Bump, bump,
favorite.
bump.
It's not my favorite. But that's all
The heart wants what it wants. Bump, bump, bump.
And honestly, I never thought we would see them together again because of
Get
the.
that in, yeah.
What happened?
They got into it. There was some beef.
What happened then?
Oh,
Since you know-
Marion
Uh-huh.
and what's his name? F. Diddle.
Lil Fizz.
Lil Fizz.
What happened?
Omarion and Lil Fizz, they were dating the same girl.
Okay, you do know.
I do.
Okay, bitch.
Oh,
You be knowing. Okay. So what had happened was Omarion, the mother of his children, April, she was on Love and Hip Hop with Fizz. They started dating. How you gonna date your homeboy, baby mama? That is crazy.
I don't know.
And then, yeah, do the math. That would be like me and you doing this together like we do. And then you start dating my baby daddy. Let's do it this way. You and Blake. Blake starts dating somebody. They have children together. And you start dating Blake baby daddy.
You up. You better date me.
So
I didn't say
messy.
I said up.
It was so messy. And then, Razby has had a lot to say about his experience in the group and being allegedly, because I believe people who say what they say, but being sexually assaulted by some people who, whatever.
Not who, whatever.
I don't know the ins and outs, and I don't want to wrongly accuse somebody of sexual assault on this internet. So y'all look up the story if you need to know details. So I never thought we would see them together again.
It was lit.
And it was lit. Back to Mariah's ass.
Back to Mariah. Type Dangerous.
We had a night of throwbacks honoring greatness in music. Why you get up there and sing a song that don't nobody know?
She should have sang, "We belong together."
Baby, there is a list of things she could have said. I would have taken All I Want for Christmas in July. Girl, what are you singing?
She could sing Emotions. 'Cause it's sweet, sweet. Or R.I.P. Old Dirty Bastard. I would say she goes, "Yo, New York's in the house." Oh my gosh.
Heartbreaking, you got the best of me.
Oh my gosh.
I came to have a party, open up the Bacardi. She could have sang so many songs.
Treated me kind. Or,
Girl.
why you so obsessed with me? Boy, I wanna know.
The options
She
were
could've done a medley, low-key.
endless. The options were endless.
And she
got
sang
some
Type
song.
Dangerous.
We don't know that
And
song.
meanwhile, the dancers in the back.
They worked.
And she was like, "Type Dangerous. So fabulous."
I will say this about Mimi. She's consistent.
She is
She is
consistent.
not going to give you too much.
She gave the same performance she gave when I saw her at Christmas this year.
Exactly. You came for beautiful gowns and an occasional note. And that is what it is.
This is literally what it is. You ready? Like if she's doing, because she did it at the All I Want for Christmas. She sang the hits, and it was like the beginning of the piano of We Belong Together. She goes, "Oh," and then the track, and then she's like, the mic is down here. Same volume. I'm like, work.
I
honestly, like, and she's in a dress. She can barely move. They pick her up. She don't even stiffen. So they can pick her up. She's like, you just pick me up.
And it's my dream.
It is.
This woman, she gets paid regardless.
She gets paid. Can I tell you the funniest story? It's a behind-the-scenes story. We're going to go quick. Apparently, I had a friend back in the day. Now, I don't know how real the story is, but she said she worked for a charity, and they asked Mariah to come sing it. It was like $2 million. They gave her the money.
Not $2 million?
Yeah, for like an hour.
For sick children?
Yeah. Yeah, you still got to pay the artist.
Oh, they should do it for free.
And then...
we won't, but...
Yeah. Anyways, so she was there. She was supposed to go on at 7. At like 8:30, they're like, "Where is Mariah?" She's like, "She's still getting ready." At 8:45, the girl who was running it, she was like, "Can you please tell her hurry? Like, this is a concert for sick kids, kind of thing." They said she comes, going down at 8:30. They line the hallways with everybody, and they said she stops, and she was like, basically, they said they thought she asked the security guard, "Who's the one who told me to hurry up?" And they pointed at the girl who said, "Can she hurry up?" She went over there. It was raining. She took her umbrella and walked to the stage. I'm sorry, that's funny.
She's amazing.
That is funny to me.
She seems like if you meet her, she's going to be exactly what you think she is and what you want her to be.
Exactly. And I
respect it.
Can I say this? Because you were going off about Jennifer Hudson. I want to go off about this about Mariah Carey. Let's talk about a songwriter.
Yes.
Putting the words rigmarole into a song. You're a mom and pop. I'm a corporation. You're a press conference. I'm a conversation. Flip that around.
Whoa, ooh.
What is it? All up in my business, like a Wendy interview. She knows how to write.
Pen to paper, baby. Pen to paper.
And
listen, Mariah has given us so many years of high notes, whistle tones, and bops. Mm-hmm. Rest.
While she was under Tommy Mottola's crazy hand.
Rest,
yes.
Queen, rest. I loved it.
Yeah.
My other favorite of the night.
Yeah.
I got up and did a praise dance. Kirk Franklin was honored, or did he won some type of award? Child, on the name of it. Mm-hmm. That performance, Kirk Franklin is so revolutionary. We're going to start there. And the way that he reinvents himself through the times is like insane. Like, there are not many artists who withstand the test of time the way he has, and the way that he constantly recreates himself, but at the same level. Mm-hmm. It never drops.
But it's also, too, it's a good, I think, okay, so I was listening to Here's the Thing.
Mm-hmm.
We love Here's the Thing over here. It was the bonus episode, so I'm not going to give too much away, but they were talking about Kirk Franklin and how he can keep renewing himself and gospel. They were basically having this conversation about how gospel, it's gone off into different things.
It's like gospel dead.
It's gospel dead, basically. But they were saying Kirk Franklin, like, even to this day, you cannot think of somebody who has gone above Kirk Franklin.
No, absolutely not. He's number one of one. Yeah. There is nobody. And I love the people, Donnie McClurkins and the Marys and Marys.
Come on, Mary.
And all those people. I love them. Shirley Caesar, Tamla Man.
Would you
all of
consider
them.
CeCe Winans gospel?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know if you or CCM, because she's had crossover
I
power.
feel like she's crossed over into more CCM, but to me, she's gospel.
My fellow CCM girlies, this one does not know who Nicole C. Mullen is.
I don't.
We had that conversation in the car, and I was floored. When I call on Jesus, comment below.
But yeah, I think the way that he's been able to continue to like be authentic, but also, like I said, stay at the same level he's been at since the early 90s. Like, it is so amazing. He should get all of his flowers. Also, did you watch his, you should watch it. I think it would resonate with you. You should watch his documentary he did about finding his biological father.
Oh, I think that would be nice.
It is so good.
I will say, I worked the Dove Awards the year that he made the speech about police brutality and how we need to, get it together. And when the Dove Awards snatched that right off the air, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm not coming back."
Good.
And I haven't been back either.
And listen, if y'all ask us to do so, we'll come.
Yeah, we'll come. I would love. It was fun. I would have so much fun with you.
I know. But yes, and I love CCM, and I think he's done a good job too, like going on tour with Maverick City. And I went to that tour.
The Tori Kelly record.
Yeah,
I like that record. Psalm 42.
He just and his performances. He gives everything. He has so much energy. I mean, he's in his 50s, and he looks phenomenal. So congratulations to Kirk Franklin. Yeah. We love you. We're grateful for you. Giving you all your flowers.
I discovered him because I watched Sister Sister.
Did you really? That's really sweet.
That episode they did the...
Yeah. Do you want a revolution? Ooh, ooh.
Okay,
Yeah.
riddle me this. What did you think about the Tiana Taylor, Taraji P. Henson poem thing?
I don't think I saw that part.
People said it was, there's this guy. Do you know who this guy is? His name's Kai, Kai.
Not.
Maybe he does all the live streaming.
Don't, Blake. This
not.
is when you be pissing me off.
Don't tell me about it.
He is like the #1 live streamer like ever.
I know.
Well, why are you asking me if I know who Kai is?
Because I will ask you who somebody really basic is too, and you're like, I don't know who them.
Yes, I know Kai Cenat.
Okay, well, apparently, allegedly, from what I saw from this one TikTok, when that poem was going on and they were doing the petals and the flowers and all that kind of stuff, he was like, oh, no, we got to get out of here.
Yes, I saw that.
And people were like, he's got such great discernment. He is a big energy person.
They say he was trying to beat the traffic.
He probably was. But blaming it on something else, you got to keep the views up.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we got to go. And they're like, he always leaves when the energy, he's got such discernment. I'm like, focus that towards your own church.
True. No, I love Kai Cenat. And I love that this was the best BET Awards in a long time.
Do you think BET's going to have a revival?
100. But this is what they need to do, though.
Yeah.
I love Glorilla and the Mother Babies. That's the only one I know. I don't know nobody else's name. And they have a place. But they need to start catering to the elder millennial crowd and make it and elevate it like they did. Because everyone was there.
I think what we've also noticed, too, is like Gen Z is not watching TV like that.
No.
And as much as BET is still a channel, it's not a channel for them.
We don't have, for us, like I said, it was 106 in Park. It was,
you know what it was for me? Midnight Love.
Oh, you dumb.
I loved Midnight Love. You're contagious.
And then they used to do BET Uncut at night, too.
Mm-hmm. My mom would come in there and say, were you watching something you weren't supposed to? I was like, no. That's where I also learned that Faith Evans song. Is it Faith Evans? Gave me reason to believe that we were always meant to be, but now I see you were wrong.
I don't know this song.
Girl,
or maybe I just don't know the way you singing it.
That was you could just say you don't know.
Oh, I don't know it. But yeah, it's I would run home. It was like TRL and 106 in Park were like my jam. And like I said, I love that they elevated it. They made it black tie, which gave it more of like a vibe.
Because I feel like I remember last year we talked about it and people were like, it's ghetto. And you're like, first of all, I do remember this. You were like, first of all, we're not going to use that to describe something bad.
Exactly.
I remember that.
I hate when people do that. That's another. Since we're talking about my pet peeves.
Get in there.
When people use ghetto as a negative connotation, it pisses me off. Because so much creativity, joy, art, most of what we wear, do, say, comes from the ghetto. So I don't like that. If you're talking about creativity and innovation and all of those things and you want to call it ghetto, go right on ahead. But if you're trying to be funny, I don't like that.
That's so ghetto.
I don't like that.
No, you say that's ratchet. Because that's what you really mean to say.
Exactly. And I do be saying it.
Okay, BET Awards, we got to go. Next year, invite us. We'll go.
Please, we'll go.
We'll go.
We'll be seat fillers.
I'll be very quiet.
We're literally begging on our knees, like Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, I love that.
That was
You do way better transitions than I do.
For all my 1 or 2 fans out there, no, I haven't been given my transitions because these motherfuckers keep taking it.
We are the hosts.
Whatever. I'm not fighting with you. It's late. It's 9 o'clock at night.
It's 9 o'clock on the dot, back in my drop top.
Okay, moving on along. Tell me, what did you feel about Sabrina's album cover? So much controversy.
Very controversial. I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, she's still in her like Miss Horny era. And then I went on about my day. That is literally what it was. I was literally sitting there and I said, I was like, not the little chain. I was like, come on, BDSM, okay. And people are doing it's the classic online what is it? I talked about being chronically online last week. This was not one of those times. They were doing think pieces, 4-minute TikToks. I'm like, you just want to get your coin. It has to be over a minute. They were doing all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, what? You go.
I start with Sabrina is grown.
GRONW.
That ain't it. That wasn't it.
That was not it. That's why I need to quit spelling.
Yeah, so I told you. She can do whatever she wants. And as a creative, first of all, we ain't even got the album yet.
No.
We don't know even really the context. We've gotten that one song and this album cover, and that is it. We don't even know what the vibes are. I thought she looked great. I thought it was hot. There's nothing wrong with being... Okay, listen. I be on... the side of TikTok where they be talking about nasty stuff.
Oh, NASTY.
I don't know how I got over there, but I was over there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I'm like, there is nothing wrong with being like a submissive. Like, if that's the vibe, that show, if you like it, I love it.
To me, it's giving satire because the album is called Man's Best Friend. Her whole shtick is like man-child, these boys. Like, it's giving like a play on like.
Well, it goes back into the boomerification, like we've talked about before, the boomerification of Gen Z. Because people are saying, she's just doing this for the male gaze. And they're like, you have right-winged yourself in the name of feminism. I need this Aperol Spritz to well off.
Get your.
She has, for the male gazed, herself right-winged into what people say. Girl.
Bitch, let me just say it.
She has right-winged herself and they're saying it's for the male gaze, for feminism, in the name of feminism.
Girl, shut up. That ain't it. Gosh.
Tell me what I'm saying.
You're saying that people been so... I can't even say it now because you done f***ed it up. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
People are trying to say that from a feminist perspective, she should not be doing this because it's like an anti-feminism movement.
It's for the male gaze.
And it's for the male gaze. But the point of feminism is for women to do whatever the they want to do. And if she wants to get down and bark like a damn dog, that's her business.
She better call herself Scooby-Doo.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't get it. Like, if creatively, personally, whatever, if that's what she want to do, that's what she want to do. People need to learn how to mind their damn business.
Mind your business.
And if you don't like it, don't like it.
Yeah.
And go on.
I will say, okay, the next part of that I was saying with the boomerification of Gen Z is they think she's going so far left that they're getting her right back into the purity culture of it all, of like, you need to have a nice little outfit on and just smile for your album cover. And it's like, well, then what are we doing?
And she looked hot.
She looked hot. She looked like she was 50 Shades of Sabrina.
Yeah, she looked great. And I don't love Man-Child.
The song.
Yeah,
it's not my favorite.
So, like, I'm like, okay, this is still feels...
artist is above critique?
Yeah, it still feels like she's gonna redeem.
I saw a tweet that was like, track list leaked, and it was like 6 + 9. It was like, I love sex. It was like, yum, yum. And then it was like, vagina from China. And I was like, wait, that sounds kind of lit.
But also, like, why is it such a thing? Like, guys can talk about pussy.
Ooh.
Eating.
Okay.
We're not trying to get demonetized over here.
And they're all like, PIMP.
That was the whole thing with WAP. When WAP came out, they were like, how dare these two women talk about this? And they were like, you literally...
Don't do it. Just leave it. We know. Because you're going to have to do a lot of bleeping later, and it's already 10 o'clock at night.
You're playing a lot of games, like a carnival.
Okay. That was not one of your best ones. I'm just going to say that. Have you seen Carnival Tyler?
No.
They were doing... Okay, so it's a Carnival Cruise. Don't roll your eyes. There you go. Carnival Cruise. They were on a Carnival Cruise.
Girl, we get it. Damn, they was on a Carnival Cruise.
And they were having karaoke time, and this little, like, no shade, love you, it was funny, frail white boy named Tyler gets up there, and he starts singing Keith Sweat.
I've seen this video. But I didn't care enough.
The crowd went wild. 10 million views. He's got a free Carnival Cruise up there.
Say Carnival Cruise one more time. This is not sponsored, by the way.
It's not sponsored. We would love to be sponsored by Carnival Cruise. I would love to go on a cruise. Well, this is what I said. He was singing. All those black women, they were falling hand over fist for him. They were loving it. They were like, look at this little boy go. That's what I want to be on Rewind the Podcast. The tour. I want to sing Keith Sweat, and I want
I will walk off. I will push the lights and cameras over and walk off.
Can I sing Usher?
No,
What,
you can't
B2K?
sing. We are not doing it.
Would you like to see us sing a little song when we do Rewind Live, the tour? Yes, we are. You need to get on board. You say we can't take a bus. I can't sing. What are we going to do, sit there and talk?
Uh-huh.
No. We're going to have fun with our audience.
Yeah, we'll do dances.
And I want to sing a song.
Blake, I'm tired.
You're always tired.
We're going to talk about this later.
No, we're not.
I'm happy for Tyler. Congratulations. May God bless you and keep you. Congratulations to Carnival.
Yeah.
Moving on along.
You also got a free T-shirt.
Oh, wow.
I know. Crazy. Okay, do one of your little transitions.
You know who did? Oh, hold on. No, hold on. I got it. You know who got a T-shirt taken away?
Who?
I don't know his name, but Doja Cat.
Ah, that was good.
That was okay. This is funny.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
sorry. Okay, so have y'all seen the discourse on Doja Cat?
I
week?
haven't. I don't know the ins and outs.
Okay, so can you pull up the tweet? So Doja Cat meets this fan outside of somewhere. And he is going on and on how much he loves her. Oh my gosh, you're like Doja Cat, blah, blah, blah. And then at one point he's like, what's your real name? And she was like, I think even maybe she was like playing with him. She's like, I thought you said you were a fan or whatever. He's like, I just don't know your real name. He's like, I love you so much. You're like that girl, blah, 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 blah. I watched the video very quickly. And she's sitting over there. She's, he's like touching her. And at one point he like gives her a hug and she kind of hugs him back, kicks her leg and all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, oh, I really like your shirt. It's like hot boys, kiss boys. He's like, you can have it. He's like, anything for Doja Cat. Like, I love you. And they hug and they're like literally like holding hands and jumping around together like us when these cameras are recording. And then as soon as she walks away, she tweets something. Can you read the tweet?
Yeah, I threw that musty-ass shirt away, by the way.
Yeah, but she had another shirt. She had another tweet that was like, she had another tweet.
Bottom line, I'll smile at you, but it doesn't mean I fuck with you, and don't touch me and manhandle me when you don't even know me. If you know, you know. I honestly think I need to stand up for myself in the moment sometimes, and he didn't even know my name to be touching me and kissing me on my face like that. That is crazy.
So she just tweeted that unprovoked, which there are valid points in that. And I'm going to, but this is the thing. What made it so funny was a lot of people were commenting. They were like, well, then, girl, why didn't you just say that in the moment? There's plenty of celebrities who were like, oh, I don't want to be touched. Like, oh, thank you so much. Like, somebody went into, I don't know if you know this Broadway actress, Leah Salonga. There were people hiding. She did, like, the voice of all the Disney characters. There was somebody hiding in her dressing room, and she addressed it herself. She was like, get out. You cannot do this. This is a safety. Get out.
Get out. This is not okay.
This says fan.
Yeah.
And just people thought it was so funny that she's sitting over there. And then she gets on. And typical Gen Z is going to say what she's going to say online and not to your face. And then she said, and then I threw that musty-ass shirt away.
Y'all, stop supporting Doja Cat.
Give your tea.
To be fair, in this video, she's like smiling.
No, they are acting like old friends. She is holding him.
No, that's fake as I don't like that. One, how dare you embarrass someone like that? A fan of yours? That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like this young man, like God, it's irresponsible first, okay. And that's what pisses me off. Yeah, jumping up and down, big girl, bye.
I will say the one funny thing is somebody screenshot it where she was like, and it was like, if I send you this, it means I actually hated the hangout. But I mean, yeah, she's jumping up and down, and I agree with the fans. It's like
I was talking.
Oh, sorry, you stopped.
No, you interrupted.
I didn't.
You did.
Just talk.
On one hand, it's irresponsible because when you put something like that out that is so pointed at one person in particular, you don't know what the fallout of that is going to be. Mm-hmm. You don't know the people who are going to attack this person because she gave no cues that she was uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Verbal, body language, nothing. She was jumping up and down, kikiing. Mm-hmm. One, it's irresponsible to do that. Two, your job and the reason you're popular is because of these people who support you. Mm-hmm. It is so rude and ungrateful to then do what she just did. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to say, hey, like, I'm not really a toucher, or, I thank you so much, but like, I don't do hugs, or whatever. Yeah. Like the man literally took the shirt off his back and gave it to you.
Bob the drag queen does that because he's notorious for not liking hugs. And if somebody goes in, he has the person, he'll go like this and stop them. He'll go, I don't like hugs.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, it's about, you're allowed to have, and I want to be very clear. She is allowed to have her boundaries, and she is allowed to feel however she wants to feel. Mm-hmm. But to behave the way that she behaved in that moment, it wasn't like she was just like, thank you so much. Like, oh my gosh, like, I appreciate it. She's literally jumping up and down and holding hands with this person.
Yes, literally.
And then
somebody was like, what was that? And then she's like, I was drunk.
And then on the back end, like, to act like that, it's very tacky.
Well, here's a secret point I've heard about. You remember a couple years ago, she got all that flack because if you Google Doja Cat t-shirt, it was her in that Nazi swastika shirt. She be on
some
So somebody said
stuff.
It was maybe the whole thing was a ploy, so when people Googled that, you didn't see it. What do you think? Conspiracy.
I don't know if Doja Cat's not smart. I've never really... Sorry, respectfully.
Why don't you say so?
I respectfully am not a fan of hers. Mm-hmm. I think she's been really problematic since the beginning. So it just ain't for me. But like, stop supporting her.
I will give her flowers on this one thing at one concert she was doing. She was like, oh, it's kind of wet out here. Let the rain fall down and wake my dream. Y'all don't know that shit? You need to learn that shit. That's my girl.
Okay.
She's carrying that torch to the next generation.
I love that. But yeah, I feel bad for him. And if you come across this, be a fan of Rewind the Podcast.
Yeah.
We will treat you with dignity and respect and gratitude.
And we will give you a shirt.
Yeah. We don't have any.
Yeah. One day. Should we get merch? Comment below.
You know who could use some dignity and respect?
Who?
From Nene Leakes, the trans community.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to be so real. I don't know a ton about this.
I know the story.
Okay, give me the story.
TS Madison, who I love.
Adore.
I feel like a Puerto Rican in this head.
Puerto Rican.
So she was on the Nene Leakes show recently, and they were giggling, gossiping, whatever. And they were talking about men, and TS was like, oh, I should basically hook you up with someone, whatever. And she's like, oh, Nene said, do you just know gay men? And TS was like, oh, I don't date gay men. And then Nene said, when you guys be saying that, that's real weird, because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he's sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something. And then Madison said, if a man comes in here and looks at me and looks at you, what he likes is women. And Nene said, because he doesn't know. And then, and if he does know he likes women, Madison responded, and Leakes was like, no, what is he, bisexual? Basically just saying I'm not trying to run into that.
I have so many thoughts.
Okay? I feel like you're gonna have more wise ones, so can I go first?
Of course.
So I do vaguely remember watching a little bit of this, and I think I got the cringe, and I had to scroll on because I feel like it was TS very much giving her bitch, shut the fuck up.
See,
yeah,
I didn't get bitch shut the fuck up. Because I think they have a relationship, which I think it's also important, but continue.
But I don't mean I
know what you mean.
Okay, yeah. Because I felt like she was like, okay, you.
Yeah,
you
I'm trying to save your life. Yeah.
Yes, and it couldn't happen. She had to SOS it. I think on Nene's side, it's girl, first of all, no, you go.
You sure?
I just feel like it's very obvious that comes across very transphobic, and it's we both like women. T.S. Madison identifies as a woman, and it's just you are at this point no better than a Republican who's you're not going to use my bathroom if you're going to do it in that regard.
I understand.
You don't agree?
I do, actually. I do and I don't. On one hand, her comments were, I believe, transphobic. I don't agree with what she said, but I do think it came from a place of ignorance and not hatred.
Oh, I'll agree.
I think that's where the difference is. To me, this was two girlfriends having a conversation about something that probably should have happened in private and not on a public platform. And we have had really hard conversations about gayness, blackness, being Christian, not being Christian, whatever, behind closed doors. And I think trans visibility is still kind of new in a lot of regards. And I think people are still figuring out the proper language. And the reason we know is because we've learned. But we've learned, I think, because of our age, socioeconomic status, ability to have information. And I think that she is of another generation and might genuinely not understand why what she was saying, why it's harmful.
Yeah.
And I think when it's that, I feel more grace should be given rather than you're transphobic and you stupid and da-da-da-da-da. Now, there's other celebrities, I'm sorry to call you out, girl, but just hilarious, who has been told over and over and over again that her comments hurt people and they're transphobic, and she does not care.
No, she's just being.
She's just saying whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think it seemed like Nene was genuinely asking, and it is when you have been raised to have such linear thinking, it is hard to grasp the concept of a person who was born male, who identifies as female, and we think of sex as gay, straight, bi. Mm-hmm. And like, there's so much more to learn. I still don't know everything. Mm-hmm. There's so much more to learn. And I think T.S. Madison did a great job of like explaining it in a way that was like with grace and like, wasn't like, girl, you dumb for not knowing. Because sometimes you really just don't be knowing.
No, can I pull from a personal experience? I worked at a country club in my hometown, and granted, I've talked about enough how I grew up. I mean, just very sheltered or whatever. And I worked with this person who, at the time, I thought was a lesbian lady. They were like, hey, my name's Nikki. And I was like, oh, work, okay. I didn't say work back then. I was probably like, praise the Lord. And then we were talking enough, and I didn't want to be like, so are you a lesbian?
Yeah.
And then at one point, they said, oh, my husband is the chef. And I was like, oh, look at that. We're judging people. That's not nice. And then I was again, the closet was glass. I was watching a lot of Chelsea Lately at the time, so I was calling everybody girl. And we were like, I remember so vividly, we were polishing glasses, and I remember I said something, and I was like, girl. And they slammed the glass down, and they said, do not call me that. And I was like, what? And they leaned in, and they go, I'm transgender. And I mean this respectfully. At that time, I was like, what does that mean? And instead of me just going and saying, hey, I didn't know.
I still don't know.
I was like,
I don't know what that means.
And I was like, hey, like, I don't know what that means. Like, honestly, like, I'm sorry if I offended you. We kind of just like let like bygones be gone. But from that point on, there was always just like kind of like, now I only worked there for like 2 weeks. So there was just like, you should have known kind of thing. And like, just like this kind of like, almost like rude, not even, I don't want to say rudeness or anger, but it was just like, we just did not have the same relationship after that. And so instead of just being like, hey, I'm so sorry, I don't know, like, how do you want me to, like I do now, it just kind of felt the wayside. And I was like, oh, sorry. And it's just because I straight up didn't know.
And I do think too, like, people can are entitled to their reactions and opinions. And even if T.S. Madison had reacted in a more direct like way, that would have been fine too. I'm not saying it is not on the onus of the person to like whatever, feel how you feel and whatever. But I do think people are so quick to like, nowadays everybody acts like they know everything. And like we just don't. And like
all this information, we have no knowledge.
Exactly. Like if you don't know, you just literally don't know. And I do think, I did not watch the full clip, so I don't know how the conversation ended.
Do you know?
She ended on this, and I again thought Nene was giving like very jokey, like kind of, and I could tell that that's like her friend, and it was just kind of like, listen, girl. But she ended up with saying that, like, remember, there's a possibility in your life that your man has been with something. And she said, I know that women consider trans women men because we were born male, but there's a difference between being a man and being male.
Ate her up in the best way.
Yeah.
In an informational way.
And it's true. And it is, listen, people were also, oh Lord, these lights are flashing. I'm scared. People are also trying to eat Nene up for saying that she wouldn't feel comfortable being with a man who was also with T.S. Madison.
Nene said that, or the audience?
Nene said. She was like, I don't want him if he wants you. Like, I don't, like, because I have these parts, and you have other parts, and if he like your part, like, I need him to like my parts. Which, I get it. I don't, and this is me, educate me.
Let me see if I can. Go ahead.
I don't understand why people are allowed to have preference when it comes to height and race and religion, but not allowed to have preference when it comes to who their partner is attracted to.
So it makes me question. So like if you were dating somebody and they were like, hey, and this may be the same, it may not, Gabe, you can help out. If they're like, hey, I'm pansexual, so I am attracted to everyone, and I have been with other people before, would that bother you?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably. But
okay.
Only because my thing is simply about me, though.
And what is it? Because in my head, I'm thinking, if they are deciding they love you, but they have been with somebody else, like why does them maybe get
For
to you?
me, I would be in my head always about, is what I'm offering good enough? And from a societal standpoint, are you in this relationship with me because I fit in this mold of what's acceptable, but really you want something else? That would make me really uncomfortable.
Okay.
And so and it's not coming from a transphobic place. And I honestly also believe that people can, it would not make me uncomfortable if a guy was like, oh yeah, I've hooked up with guys in the past, it's not for me, like now I strictly hook up with women. I would not be uncomfortable with that because you tried something, you didn't like it, and now this is what you're into and this is what you're attracted to. That would not make me uncomfortable. But if I gotta I gotta be worried about men, women, biological, cis, non-biological, I gotta be worried about everybody?
And I think that's the thing, and I'm not like putting this on you, but for a lot of like our girlfriends that I've had these conversations with, I think it comes from a sense of like insecurity, and not in a bad way.
No,
but it is. And I feel like the bisexual community like gets that a lot of like, say a bisexual man dated a man, but then now is with a woman. You usually hear from the woman, like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, he's gonna go for a man. Where a bisexual person or a pansexual, whatever, is like, no, like I'm attracted to all of this, but I'm choosing you as if it's no different than if I was in a heterosexual relationship. There's hundreds, thousands of beautiful women, but I'm choosing to be with you. Like that's the kind of.
And it's not even just that though. And I think from a woman's perspective, like we tend to like compare so much. Like I have girlfriends who look a certain way, they're blonde, and their man cheats with a brunette. And now all of a sudden, you in your head like, oh, damn, he like brunettes. Or like men who like do like all different types of women and like races, whatever. And or I have friends whose husbands only dated one type of woman for years and years and years and then married someone who physically looks completely different and they have a complex about it. So I think that might be where Nene was coming from and just didn't articulate it well. And I don't even know if articulating it the way I articulated it is doing it well.
Somebody could be listening to this right now and their head is exploding.
Oh,
They're
100%.
all three of you are getting it wrong.
And that's okay. And like I said, I just feel like people have preferences and I don't understand. I think it's one thing to say like, I don't want to be with a man who's been with a trans woman because that's gay. Like, I feel like that's coming from a transphobic place.
Well, and it makes me want to ask this other question too, especially with the Nene thing. Now, we've talked about this in the context of race before with an unconscious bias. I mean, as silly as it is with the Sierra Lexi thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how could you be better than me?
Correct.
Do you think maybe on some level there's an unconscious bias there where it's like,
might be.
I am this woman and this is a born male identifies as a woman now. How could you want that more than you want a real woman?
Right, might have hit the nail on the head.
And I think that's where unconscious transphobia
phobia,
can
100%.
come in.
Because I don't genuinely, in my heart of hearts, don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I genuinely look at trans women as women. So, like, that's not for me. Not if she a bad bitch, she a bad bitch. And that's just what it is, whatever. I think it's more of like the physicalness, but I do think, like the physical attributes, excuse me. But I do think that there is something to be said about that, especially because it's become this like competition. And I don't understand.
Simone Biles and Riley Gaines. She was like, girl, quit with all this sports talk. Shut the up.
Like, I don't understand why we're competing.
Yeah.
TS Madison on her podcast just had Drew Afwalo on, and they had a big conversation about trans women and black women in general, especially black trans women, and their relationship with each other, and how there is not a feud, but there is a competition. And TS was like, you realize that you're next. like on the chopping block, like it's black trans women and then it's black women. So like we should be building each other up. Like it's not a competition. I can't speak on that, but it was a really powerful thing because Drew was like, I'm
Samoan.
Yeah. And she's like, same way for us. Like it's just, there's always a next person and it's.
Because I think women are so focused on the male gaze. And it's like, it feels like a competition for the men. Mm-hmm. Because straight men are attracted to trans women. So I can see how it could feel like a competition.
Yeah.
It's messy, but I was really proud of TS Madison for how she handled it. Like, as a black woman standing in her power, like with a peer and like, working with her through it. Mm-hmm. She really did. And I think it's a testament to the friendship that they have.
Well, I was going to say, too, I feel like I've noticed this on certain podcasts that I listen to. Sometimes, like, you'll hear a topic like this, and there will be heat from the online community. But it's like, sometimes I'm like, is that and I'm using this very lightly, is that the danger of having someone on or having a podcast with someone that you are so close with? Because we say all the time, we forget that these things are here.
Yep.
These lights and these cameras, we'll just start talking. And to be kind of honest, part of me is like, the way we're just even addressing this, and we're talking about it from a place that we do not know, and we still want to learn. But could somebody out there be like, y'all got it all wrong. I don't like y'all. I don't with y'all like that anymore. And it's just like we're just talking.
Yeah. But I think that's like the beautiful thing about like stuff like this of like we do forget the camera, and it's like you were seeing real people in different communities, different aspects of life, talking about a subject. And, like, it's okay to not understand. It's okay to have a different, like, whatever. And it's not always a big, like, headline.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be negative or, like, combative.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I liked about their conversation is that they could still walk away as sisters and be like, I love you too, and we gonna keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So.
We are the world.
Don't touch me. All right, moving on along.
You have been foaming at the mouth to talk about. Okay, so we all had a friend movie date, and we all went and saw The Materialist. Raven fell asleep, so she went and saw it on her own time 2 days later.
I was sleepy. Y'all slept for 14 hours that night.
Well,
I was
great. You missed the movie.
good and tired.
But, sorry, this hat is just, but we saw The Materialist, and Raven
you need to put
had
your
some
hat back on.
big thoughts about this movie. Notice how I breezed right past that? Because we're friends.
I want to hear your thoughts first.
Why do you suddenly want me to go first?
Because I like it.
No.
You.
She goes deep.
Ooh.
No, don't try and fix it. I've in the time it took you to see it once, I saw it twice. Mm-hmm. So the first time I watched it, I walked out and I was like, cute movie. I was like, kind of followed the same trope. She ends up with, should we give a synopsis?
Oh, yeah. Gabe love to do a synopsis.
Yeah. Okay. Also, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We about to talk about the movie The Materialist. We's going to be talking about the end.
Yes.
If you don't want to know what happened at the end, skip forward to us saying goodbye.
Yeah, for real.
This is going to be the end.
Yeah, for real. Starring Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, and Chris Evans. There's a lot of Chris.
There's a lot.
Not this being the shortest thing. So it's a film by Celine Song, but basically a young, ambitious New York City matchmaker finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex.
Ooh, that was a good synopsis. They really ate that up.
Good synopsis. Okay, so this whole of the movie is she's matching these people, and her go-to quote is, "They check a lot of your boxes."
Mm-hmm. And we hear that a lot.
And we do.
In the dating community.
Mm-hmm. And she basically gets asked out by this guy at a wedding that she...
Pedro
Pascal. Of somebody that she hooked up, and he basically is like, I see what you're saying with you check a lot of boxes, and this you kind of see it throughout the movie. You check a lot of mine, I check a lot of yours, let's do this thing. And she's like, great. Through this, she runs into her ex, and you can see on her face when she's with him the feelings, the love, the emotions, and even though Pedro Pascal checks all of her boxes, she is like, this is fine. So, spoiler alert, she ends up with the other guy.
Yeah, and really that's it. Tell me your thoughts. Because really, that's really, for real, it.
No, I was going to...
Oh, okay, you were just taking a long time. I want to get to it.
I'm going to quote you quoting me. Don't cut me off.
Okay.
So my whole thing was, a lot of people are calling it broke boy propaganda. And I didn't think it veered very far out of normal.
Broke boy propaganda.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she ends up with the guy who she's in love with. And the second time I saw it, I was like, it's very evident that Pedro Pascal checks a lot of her boxes, and she wants to be in love with this man, but she gets the feelings and the love and the I want to do life. I see you in the nursing home with Chris Evans. Now, with that being said, my personal take, I would have learned to love Pedro Pascal. When I'm in Tribeca and he's giving me a $12 million penthouse and we're going to Iceland for fun on vacation, I will learn to love you. You are very kind. That's the T.
Let me tell you this. That movie pissed me off.
I knew it did.
That pissed me off. Why you, and when you're broke, I'm not going to feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You just going to be in the poorhouse.
The courthouse?
Poor.
The poorhouse.
First of all, I would love to be a matchmaker. I feel like I would be very good at it.
Would you?
Yeah, that looks like so much fun. First take. Second take, bitches, you dumb. Yeah. I was in there fire, red, mad. You stood in the middle of the street and screamed in this man's face that he was a broke boy and couldn't give you what you wanted. This man got you in a $12 million penthouse with your bags packed to go to Iceland, and you found an engagement ring in his bag.
And you're like, oh,
and
actually?
You're like, actually, no thanks. Bitches, you dumb. If you are going to be dumb enough, as a woman in my 30s, don't be dumb and stupid. If you dumb enough to go back to your ex, don't be stupid enough to turn away that ring. It was a nice ring.
Okay, so we've talked about this before on the podcast with getting married later in life when we were talking about Vanessa Bryant.
I'm hot.
They are clearly going in this movie for so they said like the whole theme of the movie is like, you know, this person checks a lot of your boxes, and so like you settle for that. But at the end, you truly want to feel loved in return. But my question is, you know, when you marry later in life or any of these things, a lot of people don't necessarily marry for love. They marry for companionship.
And that's my thing, too. You can learn to love somebody respectfully. To me, I didn't walk away from that movie being like, oh, my gosh, she found her true love. That is so great. I walked away from that movie saying she knew what she wanted, said out loud what she wanted, and then went against her own boundaries and her own expectations.
Well, and see, in my head, when she leaves Pedro Pascal for Chris Evans, and he's like, I'm a 37-year-old guy who works in theater and is like, I'm gonna take some more gigs, and she gets offered the job at her matchmaker to like be the person.
Ooh, girl.
And I'm like, so you are signing up to take care of this man.
Ass man. That's another thing that pissed me off. When they decided to be in love or whatever, he was like, I'm gonna get his apartment, y'all. Disgusting. Disgusting. Worse than teenage boys. Like worse than college kids.
Stepped on a used condom in the kitchen.
Gross. So I'm like, I don't want to be the reason you get your together. You was a 37-year-old grown-ass man. Why is you living like you in college with a broke-down car and we fighting over $25?
Okay, so this is my question. So if they would have painted him as, I am chasing my theater dream and I am lacking funds, but you go to my apartment and I have the cleanest room in the apartment. This car has never not worked. Once you broke up with me, like I always had money.
That would have been a completely different movie.
But in the movie, when he gives her the flowering and he goes, do you want to make a very financially poor decision? And she was like, yeah.
I didn't believe it because their chemistry was trash, respectfully. They were not giving.
In love.
This is worth me being destitute for.
And
they should have cast somebody else.
The girl or the boy?
The boy. Because I thought Dakota did great. I really
thought she ate it up.
I really thought she did a really good job.
And people are 50-50 on her.
I thought Chris did a good job too, but I felt like because she is the main character of the movie, you need to build around her. And I felt like they brought Chris in for his name, and their chemistry was not giving, I will be in the poorhouse because I love you so much.
Her and Pedro's chemistry were great.
Thank you. That's how I felt.
That scene in the kitchen where she finds out about the...
Yeah. I was like, now her and Pedro, but Pedro has that thing where he just has chemistry with everybody because he's a great actor. But like, I didn't believe them. Me and my homegirl Trinity, we went together.
Hey, friend of the pod.
We was cussing in the movie, cussing.
So it begs the question, do you think it has hurt, if we're going to talk about feminism, do Do you think it hurts the trope of like?
We're gonna call on you, girl.
Do you?
Let him finish his sentence.
Do you think it hurts the trope of like? Do you think it's broke boy propaganda? Or do you think it's that whole like two things?
It's not that deep, and I'm sick of feminism.
Oh,
women do what they want to do.
This just in: Raven hates feminism.
Women gonna do what grown ass women gonna do what they want to do, and it's their individual lives and got nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. I want to do what I want to do. I want people to be able to do what they want to do. No one's living their lives and creating their art with feminism in mind for me. I don't get on this podcast and think, how am I going to push a feminist agenda or not?
Talk about it.
So it's like, girl, it's a movie about love and dating, okay? And let it be that. Anyway, I think it was dumb. That's what I think.
All of that, I think it was dumb.
I think it was dumb.
Yeah. Yes, Gabe.
Thank you for calling on me. To me, it gave, and I don't know if it's just because we're at that age, it was written by someone like maybe in their late 40s or 50s, where you get sold this like, oh, you find your Prince Charming and like it's love, like whatever. I feel like our generation, love is not enough. I need someone who has a job. I need someone who can wash their ass. I need someone who doesn't live with, well, okay, some people can't help it, but you can find a job.
But you can have, and once again, you're allowed to have your preferences. Mm-hmm. If you prefer a man who lives alone, you can prefer a man who lives alone. Like, that isn't negative. And that was another thing. I didn't like that her being materialistic was like a part of this like negative connotation. Like, no, you want an adult. You want an adult partner.
Well, and she says that one point where her and Chris Evans are confronting each other, she's like, I'm sitting here and I know I love you, but all in my head, and maybe that is because I know a lot of times when they say the psychology of women, it's like they desire safety. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm sitting here and all I can think about, even though I love you, is I'm going to be sitting across from you in a restaurant for the rest of my life while you get your together. And I think that's the thing that bothered me about the movie on both watches is I know he's like, I'm going to take more like, more catering gigs. It did not seem like there was enough of a push to say like, I want to be better because I love you. He's like, I love you, and that's enough. And I totally agree with you, Gabe. Love can build a bridge, as the judge say, but it does not necessarily mean it is good infrastructure.
And like, as a woman, my parents watch this. To get the juices flowing, I don't want to be worried about dishes in the sink. Are we going to be able to pay our light bill? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. And I think a lot of women are that way. Like, I cannot be physically attracted to you if my mind is in panic mode because we can't pay our bills.
Well, we've talked about this on here too, the BMDs, the bare minimum dads. They're like, I don't even know my kid. I don't know my kid's doctor. Birthday. What's their last middle name? And it's just like, but they're like, oh, but he loves me. And it's like, to me, he doesn't. And
my thing too is I respectfully, being in a heterosexual relationship between a man and a woman, the woman bears so much of the burden of day-to-day brain space, the kids, your job, whatever. And it's like, I physically, emotionally, spiritually cannot. Mm-mm. And if I gotta be worried about you losing your catering job, that's not gonna work for me. And call me materialistic. I'm the materialist.
No, without telling their tea, I'm gonna give a quick 10-second or less story. I knew somebody when I was growing up, they were like mentors to me. And at the time, it felt like they were all one big happy family. I loved spending time with them, that kind of thing. And as we got older and they got divorced, they had 3 kids. She basically was like, it was one way in front of y'all, but he never wanted to step up. He never wanted to do these things. She's like, I was the breadwinner. I did all these things. She goes, it always felt like I had 4 children.
And I will be single before I do that.
And that my mom, even now, someone's like, well, do you don't want to find a companion later in life because she's single? And she's like, no. And sometimes I almost told her, I was like, you need to go to therapy. Why do you always say I'm not taking care of another man? I was like, marriage is like a commitment, blah, blah, blah. She goes, tell that to the men.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say. Because
let me tell you, Pam got me together.
Because my thing, too, like, I'm no better than any man. I've said it before. Mm-hmm. I like to be taken care of. I don't know if y'all know that about me.
I'm about to knock over this camera.
I don't like doing stuff for myself. Some call me helpless. Listen, if a man is around, my arms don't work. I don't know how to pick up bags. I can't do it. I don't want to be and I love my mama to death. We work that lady to the ground. She do my hair, she do my eyebrows, she cook my breakfast.
She didn't this time.
She didn't because I didn't ask. But like, I look at her sometimes and how serving, like a true servant she is to her family.
Are you like, could never be me?
Could never be me. I'm like, maybe God will one day give me the grace to be that way. This woman will wake up and cook breakfast. And then, like I said, do my hair. Mom, can you do this for me? Yes. Can you do that for me? Yes. Like, she is just always giving.
But do you think that's only one way you can, and I know, again, this is not necessarily feminism, but like my mom, she's like an Enneagram 8, and so she always told us growing up, she's like, I wish I could be Florence Henderson. I wish I could vacuum in pearls and have snacks and cookies waiting on y'all. She's like, but I don't. But let me tell you what, she kept that house in order, and we still respected her as the mom she is, even though it wasn't always warm and fuzzy.
But I will say this too, though. My dad is not helpless. Like, my dad also cooks. My dad's actually a really good cook, and he's probably more organized and more cleanly than my mom. And he takes on some of the workload in the home, also working outside of the home. So I jokingly will tell my dad, my mom be waiting on him hand and foot, but my mama ain't paid a bill since 91. So it's like, you know what I mean? So like, if that's I just don't know if I have that in me.
But also, to comment on your parents, that feels like the yin and yang of having a good
does.
partner.
They are very much yin and yang. And I will say, like, growing up, my dad did my hair. He drove me to dance class. He would drive me and my girlfriend, so we would just talk that man ear off in the car. Like, so active. And that's another reason why, like, I can't accept anything less, because I grew up with a man who was, like, in it to win it.
Well, that's what I mean too about like having a good partner. We see women now, and I mean, I'm not gonna say some of our friends, some of our peers.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're running circles around, and then the dad's like, I'm gonna go play golf, and they're like, can you take our kid Gage? And they're like, your son's name is Gabe. And they're like, oh, sorry. Like they literally are they like the fraternity never ended.
Yeah, I never, and like I said, I just could not. I physically, and I don't want to be married that bad. And also, I don't believe in the sanctity of marriage that much not to get divorced. You will be out my house.
OT. You said I can be all the women who independent, sign that divorce paper.
Like, I love God. I love the Lord. Get out my house.
What were you singing earlier? Come in the room.
Come on in the room.
Now, I will say the good thing about the whole gay thing is that most gay people, they strive to be the best because they have to like overproduce because nobody was supposed to know they were gay growing up. So a lot of gay men, they already make a lot of money and they just want to go to Disney. So.
I wish a gay couple would adopt me.
But I think that's why our friend group is so good, is because it's women and gay men.
And y'all take really good care of me.
No, but think of how we all, like, in some way, we all have each other, like, and we don't need a man. I mean, now someone has a man, but like.
But they're good guys, though.
They're good guys. And we support it.
Yeah. Y'all do take really good care of me, and I appreciate it.
I sometimes can get a little defiant, but...
You don't do as good a job as everybody else.
That's fine.
I'll
own that.
To be
sometimes
clear.
I can tell when I can see that little twinkle in your eye, you're like, oh, he'll do it for me. And then I say, no, I won't.
But you do really nice things. Like when we traveled together, you carried all of my bags. Like, you're good at that kind of stuff.
I'm very mindful. I get you a lot of gifts.
I'm the best.
Gabe's number one because he likes to take care of me.
It's the nurse in me.
Anthony's number two but Anthony just bitches when he has to do things for me. You're number three.
I'm probably number 4 because Angelo.
But I don't be asking Angelo to really do stuff.
Because he's never here.
No, because like I feel like he's one of the girls. Like, why am I asking him? Like, one of y'all can do it.
Yeah, T. So, I mean, I'll try and take better care of you, but probably also don't piss me off.
Okay.
All in all, great movie.
I will say, heavy dialogue.
Yeah.
And
they don't cut the scene. They let that scene breathe.
Baby, and I love that like type of movie, Trinity was going to jump out of her skin.
It was just a lot. It was just like, I like you too.
It was very heavy dialogue, but I thought from an acting perspective, they did well.
Yeah.
I was like, really well. They did well. I did not think that Dakota and Chris had any type of chemistry. That was my only no, and it was long.
Mm-hmm. Very much, as you used to say.
Very much longer.
It's very much long. But we always are big proponents of go see it, form an opinion for yourself, because we do not tell you what to think here at Rewind the Podcast.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of think tank tonight. I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Rewind the Podcast. If you want to listen to other episodes of Rewind the Podcast, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like podcasts. We're not here to tell you what you like because you are a grown adult and you know what you like. But hey, guess what? If you want to watch the podcast and look at our beautiful faces, you can watch us on the YouTube. Make sure you comment, subscribe, like, and sign up for alerts because we've got some extra things coming down here and there, and we want you to be a part of it. With all that being said, Raven.
Like Blake said, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us 5 stars and a review. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Raven Dawson.
And I am chronically online. You can find me anywhere there's a social media site at Blake Rackley. And with all that being said, we'll see you
next week. Toodles.
Ta-ta.
Also, happy Juneteenth tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Happy Juneteenth.
We're going to give Raven her gift and leave her alone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Rewind the Podcast.
Rewind the Podcast is a Laurel Street production hosted by Raven Dawson and Blake Rackley.
Rewind the Podcast is recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, and produced by Gabe Bryant.
Our theme song is Famous Nobodies, performed by Rackley.
Written by Blake Rackley and Matt Pingle, and produced by David Spencer.
To contact Rewind the Podcast about sponsorship, business inquiries, or just to say hey, please email at thatrewindpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.